Good evening, everyone. Now we are going to show regarding the surface finish testing instruments. Surface finish testing instruments. So those are the straight edge, surface plate, surface gauge. Surface roughness measuring instruments, visual inspection, tracer instruments, optical instruments. Surface roughness. Now we will see what is the meaning of an surface roughness. On any finished surface, that means on any completed surface, imperfections are found in the form of an succession of hills and valleys. Imperfections means that is the incomplete, the works are found in the formation of successful hills and the valleys. That means nothing but an up and down like that. The imperfections are both in height and in spacing. These imperfections are both in height and in the spacing. Straight edge. Straight edges are commonly used for testing the straightness and flatness of the plane surface. Straight edges are commonly used for testing the straightness and flatness of the plane surface. The name itself indicating straight edge, that means it is used to testing the straightness. Straight in the sense it is also in other terms it is also called as a flatness. Flatness is tested by a light test. The narrow edge of the tool is applied to the surface to be tested and kept horizontally at the eye level. The narrow edge of the tool is applied to the surface to be tested and kept horizontally at the eye level. Light is watched between the straight edge and the surface along the straight edge. Light seen at one place or another indicates deviation from the straightness. See, this is the figure of the straight edge. I am making a zoom such that you can see clearly on the screen. Straight edge. So, next is an surface plate. Surface plate. It is used for testing the flatness of the work itself and is also used for making out work. What is the purpose of the surface plate? It is used for testing the flatness or the trueness or the straightness of the work itself and is used also for making out work or for making out working operations. This is used for small pieces of work while the marking out table is used for larger jobs. It is used in conjugation with other gauges. It is used in conjugation, that means the mix with the other gauges. You can see the surface plate on the screen. This is called as the surface plate. So, with the help of an universal bevel, we are using the surface plate. So, universal bevel gauge and the angle gauge. The help of the both, we are measuring the height of a particular object which is already compared with the help of an bevel gauge. This is the figure of an surface plate which is of the flatness and the straightness. Surface gauge is used in laying out of parts that have to be machined. Surface gauge is used in laying out of parts that have to be machined. It is used in conjugation with the dial indicator for checking the surface. It is used in conjugation with the dial indicator for checking the surface. The tool has a V-shaped groove at the bottom of the base for resting the block on a round bar, so that the dimensions may be set off from the bar to some other part of the work. See, this is the figure of an surface gauge. You can see the scriber. For that you are seeing the adjusted screw, the bottom, the base. For that one screw is fixed. So this is used to measure the heights or to transfer the distance. So this is made of an speed steels. Now coming to the point of an visual inspection. What is the meaning of visual inspection? That means we can see with the help of our eye or with something else. So the surface roughness can be judged by visual comparison of one surface with the other. The visual comparison of one surface with the other surface. Sense of feel method is most often used. In this we will use the sense of feel method. That means by seeing the surface or by comparing the surface, we can feel the difference. A fingernail is moved along the surface of the job, and a sense of feel indicates the amount of resistance and the depth of irregularities. A fingernail is moved along the surface of the job, and a sense of a feel indicates the amount of resistance and the depth of irregularities. This can be compared with master roughness scale. So this can be compared with the help of a master roughness scale. Now coming to the point of an tracer instruments. So in the figure you are seeing the profilometer. So I am making a zoom such that you can see the parts clearly on the screen. Roughness meter, amplifier, flux, work surface, stylus, diamond point, spring, magnet and the tracer head. So these are the main parts of a profilometer. Now we will see the working of a profilometer. This is also called as a tracer instrument. So profilometer is a tracer instrument used to measure the surface roughness accurately, which is used to measure the surface roughness accurately. The two main parts of the profilometer are the tracer and an amplifier. The two main parts of the profilometer are the tracer and the amplifier. The tracer may be moved either manually or mechanically. Mechanical movements give more consistent and dependable roughness measurements. Mechanical movement give more consistent and dependable roughness measurements. As the tracer is moved across the surface, the stylus follows the counter of the surface. These up and down movements of stylus are converted into the electrical impulses. If the workpiece is having the up and down movement, these movements are follows the counter of the surface. So these are converted into the electrical impulses. These impulses are fed to the amplifier, where it is amplified to accurate roughness meter. These impulses are fed to the amplifier, when the amplifier to accurate roughness meter. The meter shows the roughness height in micro inches. The instrument is best suited for measuring surface roughness of deep grooves. The instrument is best suited for measuring surface roughness of deep grooves. So in the figure you can see the profilometer. This is the actual figure of an profilometer. Next, optical flat. Optical flat utilizes interference technique to measure the surface roughness. So, this optical flat also used to measure the surface roughness. It is made of high quality optical quartz having extremely flat and parallel surfaces of about 25 mm. So, it is made up of an high quality optical quartz which is having the extremely flat and parallel surface of about 25 mm. The flat is produced on the surface to be checked. The flat is placed on the surface to be checked. Monochromatic light is designed as the flat. The light is reflected from the back face of the flat and also the surface of the work. Right, you can see the figure of the optical flat in the screen clearly. Now, we will see the parts in phase brightness, interference darkness, in phase brightness, interference darkness, the optical flat. At the bottom you are seeing the surface. See here optical flat, fringes, below you are seeing the work surface. B. Fringes on flat inclined surface. C. Curved fringes indicates the curvature of the work surface. So, the optical flat. Some rays will be in phase and some will be out of the phase with light reflected from the optical flat. I repeat once again. Some rays will be in the phase and some will be out of the phase with light reflected from the optical flat. The result is a series of light and dark bands. So, the result is a series of light and the dark bands. The number of fringes that appears is related to the distance between the part and the bottom surface of the optical flat. The number of fringes that appear is related to the distance between the part and bottom surface and the optical flat. A truly flat workpiece surface will not split the light beam and fringes will not appear. So, when surfaces are not flat, images are curved. See, this is a figure. This is also a figure. By this we can see the thumb impressions there. This is regarding the optical flat. So, I have taken some videos from the YouTube regarding the optical flat and a profilometer such that you can clearly understand. The main source is from the YouTube which I am taking.
Phenomenon of interference was explained in my previous video. The interference effects are associated with thin transparent films. Examples are soap bubbles, oil films on water, and optical flats. An optical flat is a disc of high quality glass or quartz like this. The surface of the disc is ground and lapped. This surface is ground and lapped to high degree of flatness. Sizes of optical flats vary in diameter from 25 mm to 300 mm, and in thickness, this is the thickness of this optical flat, and it varies from 25 mm up to 50 mm. When an optical flat is laid over a flat reflecting surface, it orients at a small angle theta due to the presence of air cushion between the two surfaces. You can see this angle theta. Because of air cushion between these two, flat surface and optical flat, automatically an angle is created, a very small angle is created, theta. Consider a ray of light from a monochromatic light source falling on the upper surface of the optical flat. Here one monochromatic light is coming from this source. The light ray partially reflected at this point and partially transmitted here. So you can see here at this point partially reflected and some part is passed through this air medium, and then it again get reflected from the flat surface, and these two reaches to I. Now the distance traveled by this ray and distance traveled by this ray, this component of the ray, so this component and this component, these two travels different distances. Now what is the difference between these distances? This is equal to ABC. So these two distances from here to here and from C to here equal. So extra distance traveled by this part of ray is ABC. If this length ABC is equal to lambda by 2 or any odd multiple of lambda by 2, where lambda is the wavelength of monochromatic light, then a complete destructive interference will occur and I is able to see a distinct patch of darkness termed as a fringe. Next, consider another light ray from the same source S falling on the optical flat at a small distance from the first one. So from the small, this is a very small distance, here I have drawn very far, but actually this distance is very small. Again some part of this ray get reflected from this point, and some transmitted and then again reflected at the flat surface at this point. Here distance traveled by these two rays are different, and this difference is given by DEF. Now you can see that this distance DEF is greater than ABC, so it may be any distance more than lambda by 2. Now suppose this DEF is equal to 3 lambda by 2. Then in that case again you will get a similar fringe, the one which is obtained here, the same fringe, that is a complete darkness or a destructive interference will be obtained. So when we already know that whenever the distances traveled by the two rays is odd multiple of lambda by 2, you will get destructive interference. However, at intermediate points between the two fringes, the path difference between two reflected portions of the light ray will be even multiple of half wavelength. In this case, two components of light will be in phase and light band will be seen between them. So in between these two, at middle portion somewhere here, you will get this difference ABC here, DEF here. So in between this distance will be equal to 2 lambda by 2, that is lambda. So in that case, a light band can be seen. So we will get alternate bands of light and dark patches. If surface is perfectly flat, fringe patterns will be regular, parallel and uniformly spaced. If it is perfectly flat, in that case you will get fringes like this, which is regular, parallel to each other and uniformly spaced. When fringes curve towards the line of contact, so here this is the line of contact. If these fringes curved towards the line of contact, the surface is convex and high in the center. For opposite curve, for this opposite curve, surface is concave and low in the center. In this way, an optical flat can be used to check flatness of a surface. Thank you for watching this video.
Works. By using this, we can measure the how much angle differences is there. Thanks for watching. Subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you. It provides a very sensitive and accurate approach for small angular difference. It essentially requires an infinity telescope and collimator combined into one instrument. Working principle of autocollimator. It contains some of important parts: focal plane, collimating lens, plane reflector, and point surface. At the point surface, the light rays will be projected along the focal plane. This light rays projected on the collimating lens. This collimating lens provides the parallel pencil lines. In front of the collimating lens there will be a reflector plane. This reflector plane axis will be normal to the collimating lens axis, and this will reflect the right rays perpendicular to the reflector plane. Then it will be projected on the collimating lens, and this light rays converge at the point of source O. Now the point of source projection and convergence of light both are in the same point, so we can assume that there is no angular differences. Suppose the object is tilted some angle. Now the light rays will be passed from the point of source O, and collimating lens provides a parallel pencil line. These light rays will be passed on the reflector plane, and the light rays projected perpendicular to the reflector surface. Now some of the rays are projected on the collimating lens and convergence at the point of O dash. Now there is a difference between O and O dash, and this provides the angle of 2 theta. Now object is tilted at angle of theta, the reflection will be 2 theta with reference to the parallel pencil lights. Now we can make a triangle OO dash. This is the triangle OO dash and F is the focal length. Assume now 2 theta is the angle of reflection. Now OO dash equal to x. Then now tan 2 theta equal OO dash divided by focal length. Now OO dash is nothing but x. X equal 2 theta into focal length. This way we can find out the differences from main picture. And we see the components in autocollimator: lamp, diffuser, crossline graticulo. Crossline graticulo is nothing but it's a scale. There will be a marking dimensions, an eyepiece, scale, beam splitter, and objectives, and reflector plane and viewpoint. These are the important components in autocollimator. Now the light waves will be projected from the lamp. It will be projected on the diffuser, and it will converge on the crossline graticulo. The light waves will diverge from the reflector point, and this light waves projected on the objective via the beam splitter. This objective will provide the pencil of light. This action is known as autocollimation. Now this pencil of lights projected on the reflector plane. Now the waves are reflected, and via the beam splitter it attain the eyepiece. Then it will be projected on the focal plane. Suppose the object is or a reflector plane is tilted some angle. Now the same light waves will be reflected, and it attains the eyepiece and provides some differences from initial image. From these two images we can attain the angle differences. This way the autocollimator works. By using this we can measure the how much angle differences is there. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Tilted some angle. Pencil of lights projected on the
This is a single point cutting tool. In this single point cutting tool, we are having two faces. This is a cutting point. This is a cutting point. From this is a front face, and this is a side face. Now, the angle from this line to this, if you are going to draw one imaginary line, this angle between this imaginary straight line to this inclined line is called as front angle. Similarly, this is a side angle. Now we are going to check the front angle and the side angle by using this toolmaker's microscope. Okay, now this is toolmaker's microscope. You're having two bulbs. Now you can switch on these two bulbs. So now you can place this single point cutting tool here. Then you can adjust finely by this two screws, x-axis and y-axis. Now you can rotate this crosshair. Here inside this you are having the crosshair. Now you can tilt this angle of crosshair by the scale like this. Okay, now you are having another one small scale. It is similar to the vernier. Here also you are having the least count. Here the least count is 6 minutes. Now I kept this single point cutting tool here. Now I am going to adjust. Now I placed at the exact position. It will be like this. This is the crosshair and this is a single point cutting tool push. Right. Now I am going to check the angle in this scale. Now the scale is having the divisions here. Here the exact reading is 271 exactly. I took this 271 degree. This is our first reading. Now I am going to check this angle. Then the next step is I kept this tool like this and I am going to rotate this crosshair in clockwise direction like this, in clockwise direction to match this edge. It will be like this. Now it will exactly coincide. Now it coincides exactly. Now I am going to check the angle using this scale. It is 278 point something, right? 278 degree plus something. I am going to check the coincidence. It is similar to the vernier. Now it coincides exactly on 3 and the least count is 6 minutes. So 278 degree plus 18 minutes. So 278 degree 18 minutes. Now the difference is 278 degree 18 minutes minus 271 degree. It is an angle for the front face. Similarly, I am going to find the angle for the side face. This is a procedure to find the angle using this toolmaker's microscope.
After completion of the optical flat, we are going to see regarding the principle of autocollimator, the use of autocollimator, accessories of autocollimator, applications of autocollimator, toolmaker's microscope. At first, we are going to see regarding the autocollimator. So, it is an optical instrument used to measure angular displacement with accuracy of 0.2 seconds. It is an optical instrument used to measure angular displacements with a high accuracy of 0.2 seconds. It can also be used to measure the flatness of a large surface. Now, you can see the figure of an autocollimator. This is the figure of autocollimator. See, you are seeing the collimation of light. This is the main figure of the autocollimator. Now, we can see the parts here. I am coming from the top: illumination, filter, condenser, diffuser, object reticle, objective lens, beam splitter, eyepiece reticle and the eyepiece. I repeat the parts once again. From the top: illumination, filter, condenser, diffuser, object reticle, objective lens, eyepiece, eyepiece reticle and the beam splitter. Collimation of light. Now, we will see the collimation of light. When a point source of light is placed in the focal point of convex lens, parallel rays of the light are reflected by the lens. I repeat, when a point source of light is placed at the focal point of convex lens, parallel rays of light are reflected by the lens. A device with a lens suitable for causing light rays from point source to become a parallel is known as a collimator. What is a collimator? A device with a lens suitable for causing light rays from a point source to become a parallel, that is called as an collimator. Here you can see the collimation of light in the screen. Newtonian reflector. So, this is a good collimation, auto collimation of the light. Auto collimation of light occurs when reflecting surface is used in conjugation with a collimation lens. I repeat, auto collimation of the light occurs when reflecting surface is used in conjugation with a collimation lens. The collimation rays will be reflected back from the surface. These rays pass through a lens. Operating principle of auto collimator. Now, we can see the parts: illumination, object reticle, image, beam splitter, focal length f, objective lens and the mirror surface. Principle: the light in the form of a parallel rays is reflected from the source of reflector. The light in the form of parallel rays, the light which is in the form of a parallel rays is reflected from the surface of a reflector. After re-entering the objective lens, the light forms an image of target wise in the same plane as the wire itself. The eyepiece in the micrometer enables the observer to measure any angular displacement caused by the misalignment of the reflector. I repeat, the light in the form of parallel rays is reflected from the surface to the reflector. Then, after re-entering the object lens, the light forms an image of target wires in the same plane as the wire itself. The eyepiece in micrometer enables the observer to measure any regular displacement caused by misalignment in the reflector. So, auto collimator accessories: leveling base, surface plate stand, steel reflector, mounted glass corner reflector and steel cube reflector. I repeat, leveling base, surface plate stand, steel reflector, mounted glass corner reflector, steel cube reflector. Leveling base. So, it supports the auto collimator. Leveling base, it supports the auto collimator. It incorporates spring loaded clamps and a circular bubble level. 3 pads are included for use under the foot screws. A multi-purpose stand of heavy duty construction for general bench use. Here we will use a multi-purpose stand of heavy duty construction. That means it is used for heavy duty and for multiple operations. The autocollimator clamping bracket has a independent clamping and rotational adjustment. So, the clamping brackets which is having the independent clamping and the rotational adjustments. Steel reflector. It is recorded as an integral part of any autocollimator system. Successful autocollimation requires a reflector of adequate flatness, reflectivity and diameter. Mounted glass corner reflector. This is used in conjugation with a reflector carriage and mount a reflector for calibrating a surface plate. It enables several calibration lines to be traversed without the autocollimator being moved, thereby saving setup time and making the subsequent correlation of reading easier. Steel cube reflector. It can be used as a general purpose reflector and for providing a 90 degrees angle stand in 3 planes for setting or checking perpendiculars. Applications of an autocollimator. Now we will see a few of them. For measuring straightness and flatness, autocollimator is used for measuring the straightness and the flatness of the surfaces. Precise angular indexing in conjugation with the polygons. So, for the angular indexing in conjugation with the polygons also. Compared to measurement using mass triangles. Assessment of squareness and parallelism of the components. The measurement of small linear dimensions. I repeat. For measuring straightness and flatness, precise angular indexing in conjugation with the polygons, comparative measurement using mass triangles, assessment of squareness and parallelism of the components, the measurement of small linear dimensions. Next, coming to the point of the tool maker's microscope. I am making a zoom. Such that you can see clearly. Screen, eyepiece, clamping screw, optical head, supporting column, table, micro screw. So, this is the tool maker's microscope. The tool maker's microscope. The tool maker's microscope has a table on which the workpiece is clamped. The tool maker's microscope has a table on which the workpiece is clamped. The table movements are controlled by the micrometer. The light source is contained in the base. The work may be viewed directly as in the case of conventional microscopes or projected on the screen. When looking into the eyepiece of this microscope, two thin straight lines intersecting at the center of the field may be seen on the glad at the focal plane. I repeat, when looking into the eyepiece of this microscope, two thin straight lines intersecting at the center of the field may be seen on the glass at the focal plane. The microscope is focused to show clear image of a magnified portion of a workpiece on the focal plane. To take out the measurement, one cross line of the eyepiece is aligned with one end of the dimension. Location of the table is noted. The table is then moved The same cross line of the eyepiece is now aligned with the opposite and the end of the dimension. Again the location of the table is noted. The difference in the two readings is the desired measurement. The difference in the two readings is the desired measurement. I repeat once again. To take out the measurement, one cross line of the eyepiece is aligned with the end of the dimension. Location of the table is noted. The table is then moved. Some cross line of the eyepiece is now aligned with the opposite end of the dimension. Again the location of the table is noted. The difference in the two readings is the desired measurement. So, this is the optical system of an tool maker's microscope. Screen, mirror, 90 degrees prism, projection lens, inverting prism, objective lens, workstage, collimative lens, mirror, and the bottom you are seeing the collimating lens. The image of the work profile is focused by the objective lens system. The image of the work profile is focused by the objective lens system. Then the image is passed through an inverting prism to ensure that the projected image is oriented some as the object of the work stage. I repeat, the image of the work profile is focused by the objective lens system. Then the image is passed through an inverting prism to ensure that the projected image is oriented same as the object on the work stage. So, the projected light then picks up the image on a graticle. It is again focused by a second lens system before passing through a right angle prism. Both images are then projected by the final lens of the reflecting mirror and onto the screen. I repeat, the projected light then picks up the image of a graticle. It is again focused by a second lens system before passing through a right angle prism. Both images are then projected by the final lens of the reflecting mirror and onto the screen. Applications of the toolmaker microscope. Now, we will see some of the applications of toolmaker's microscope. To measure the diameter of the holes and distance between the centers. To measure the diameter of the holes and distance between the centers. Position of keyway with reference to center of the bore. Position of the keyway with reference to the center of the bore. Angle and pitch of the threads. Gear tooth spacings. Gear tooth spacings. Now, we are going to see some of the videos regarding the toolmaker microscope, which I have downloaded from the source YouTube.